I am here. Good night, good night, good night.
All right, so you have something to read, Jade?
Hey, we ready? Welcome back, everyone, to Read to Me TT Bedtime Series. Hope you all are ready for another fun bedtime story just before bedtime. I am Jade, and I work with an international airline. Oh, goodness. I am sorry, my phone fell. I work with an international airline for the past 10 years. I'm also a small business owner. I'm the mother of 3 wonderful boys, 2 of which you see in my screen, and 1 is sitting with Daddy. Tony.
Right.
Hi. Man here.
My name is Anthony Woodroffe, also known as Paul. I'm a music player. And this is my firstborn, Jamaica. And yeah, we're here to read to you tonight and hopefully, keep the spirits up and keep everything positive and light.
Right.
So, yeah.
One second. Okay, kids. So we all know these past few weeks have had us inside, but just remember, we are all being heroes in our own way by staying inside and flattening the curve. So tonight's book is called Chee Chee Big Plans by Carol Otley Mitchell, illustrated by Anne Catherine Liu and published by Caribbean Reads. So I hope you guys will enjoy this whoever has been following. This is another adventure of Chee Chee. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. We ready?
Yeah, I think so.
1 second.
Going to read the story? Well, you'll see. I'll pick up the slack if necessary. Right, so let's start. Chee Chee is a vervet monkey who lives on the beautiful island of St. Kitts. He lives with his 7 brothers, well, sisters and brothers. The youngest one is growing up, but still hangs on under his mother's tummy sometimes. One day, quite by accident, Chee Chee and his younger brother John John discovered a wonderful abandoned garden full of fruit trees of every kind. They had only been one time, and Chee Chee was determined to return. He and his brothers swinging through the fruit trees, eating whatever they liked. No one lived in the garden, so the monkeys would be able to eat and play without being disturbed. If only they could get inside. The monkeys could not just scamper over the wall into the garden and eat until their tummies were full. No, the house was surrounded by danger. There was something or someone on every side of the house to keep the monkeys away. 3 Rottweilers lived on the house on the left, very fierce, who spent most of their time curled up in the shade of the front steps of their house. If the monkeys were near the garden, the dogs would jump to their feet and bark with a deep bark that made even a brave monkey like Chee Chee run for cover. The house on the right was even worse. Not only did a fierce dog live there, but there was an elderly man who was always at home. COVID-19. He didn't like it when he and his brothers ate the fruit from his trees. He couldn't move very quickly, but he would stand near his dog and shake his long, thick walking stick to scare the monkeys away. Shura, the dog in the house behind the monkey's paradise, was quite calm. She liked people, but she did not like and would snarl and snap if they came near. Chee Chee had passed Shura once before, and that was when he discovered the abandoned garden. He had not been past her since.
The monkey would have loved to enter their garden through the front gate, but the road in the front of the house was busy with traffic all day. Chee Chee's older brother, Mo, thought they could get past the cars, but as brave as Chee Chee was and as delicious as the fruits in the garden were, the traffic was too dangerous to get past. Chee Chee, Mo, and John John drew a picture of the problem. The monkeys drew a square for each house. The box in the middle was their garden, and Chee Chee marked it with a large X. He used stones for the dogs and people in the other house. He moved the stones in one position, then the other.
There must be a way in,
he said at last.
Let me go.
John John pleaded.
I can get by. I know it. Anyway, it's my turn. You spent hours in the garden last time.
Chee Chee remembered the wonderful time he had spent collecting fruit in the garden.
well,
Chee Chee said.
every lunchtime Shura sleeps soundly under the ginger lilies. If she stays fast asleep and the 3 Rottweilers are also asleep, we can run along the wall of Shura's house and jump into our garden. But if any of them awake,
Chee Chee continued.
it's big trouble. You can hide in Shura's garden, but it's a long jump from the trees. In her garden to the wall of our garden, I made it last time, but that was only because I was terrified.
I
Chee Chee,
can do it.
John John said.
I am the fastest monkey ever.
And to prove it, he sped to the end of the road and back.
I don't know.
Chee Chee said.
It's a long jump.
Piece of cake.
John John said.
I am the long jump champion in my class.
And he showed Chee Chee once more, running and then taking a leap in front of his brother.
You won't have a running start up the tree,
said Chee Chee. But John John insisted, and eventually Chee Chee gave in.
Okay. Well, wait until Shura is on this side of the house, and I will stand guard here.
He drew an X in the ground in front of Shura's house to show where he would hide.
If she wakes up, I'll call out to you, and you will have to run. We can't see the Rottweiler, so we will just have to hope they are also asleep.
I'm ready.
Said John John.
They'll never catch me.
So, the monkeys kept watch over the house where the dog called Shura lived. When the sun was at its highest point, Shura felt too hot to walk around the garden. She went to her favorite place under the shade of the ginger lilies and fell asleep. The monkeys waited until they thought she was in a deep sleep. Then, Chee Chee approached the wall slowly until he was close enough to touch it. Shura did not wake up. Chee Chee signaled to John John, and the little monkey came running. John John up onto the wall and ran along it towards the back of the house. Halfway there, he stopped. The Rottweilers were awake, and they were already snarling at him. Chee Chee said softly.
Jump into the trees in Shura's garden. She's still
Be asleep.
she's still asleep.
So, little John John jumped into the fruit trees and made his way from one to another until he was in the tree next to the wall that separated Shura's house from their garden. It was a plum tree with thickly intertwined leaves and branches, so he was hidden from the dogs. He crept to the edge of this. John John cried out.
I don't think I can do it.
Shura rolled over in her sleep. Chee Chee ran over to the other side of the front of the garden.
Shh,
He whispered.
you wake up Shura.
Here,
I can't do it. I can't.
wailed John John. Chee Chee encouraged him.
Of course you can do it. You're the long jump champion. Remember? You can do it.
I can't. I can't.
John John said again. Chee Chee knew that John John was terrified.
First,
He said. Go ahead.
just turn around and come back.
But too late. While Chee Chee was talking to John John, Shura had woken. She smelt John John and barked. Smell. She ran under the searching for the monkey. John John was well hidden, but his long tail hung down just within Shura's reach. She leapt and nipped at his tail.
Ow!
John John cried, and he ran, jumping from tree to tree, and then over the wall to where Chee Chee waited. The two monkeys ran back home. John John's father wrapped leaves around his tail to soothe the cut from Shura's bite. John John sat whimpering.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was so sure I could do it.
Don't worry, it's very difficult. We'll get there one day.
Chee Chee comforted him.
She won't have.
No, that's for me.
She wouldn't have caught me if my tail had not been hanging down. That's the only reason she saw me.
Said John John. He looked at his wounded tail sadly. Chee Chee jumped up and shouted.
That's it, John John. You got it. You found the answer.
John John looked puzzled. He that he had helped his big brother. Chee Chee said some more.
I have a plan. Come with me.
The two older monkeys left John John nursing his tail and went back to the drawing that Chee Chee had made in the dirt. Chee Chee quickly explained his plan. More thought about it and then agreed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if we move quickly, it just might work.
More thought a bit more, and then he said,
I'll go this time. I'm bigger than both of you and John John. And if I have to jump from the tree to the wall, I just might make it.
The monkeys went to a plot of land where a new house was being built and found a piece of rope about 2 feet long in a coil on the ground. The monkeys picked up the rope.
We'll bring it back soon.
Chee Chee said to Mo, who did not like taking something that did not belong to them. They ran back to Shura. Mo held the rope tight in his arms. Shura was still up and alert. She started barking as soon as she heard the monkeys coming. Mo leapt bravely onto the wall with the rope in his mouth. He leapt from tree to tree until he got to the plum tree. Shura also went to the. She ran in circles, jumping and barking, because she could smell the monkey in the tree. How are they smelling these monkeys so? Anyway, but she couldn't see him. Mo tied the rope to a branch and let it hang down until it was just out of Shura's reach. The rope looked and smelled like a monkey's tail. How does a monkey's tail smell? Shura rope back angrily and trying to bite it, but try as she might, she could not touch it.
Monkey butt. That's right.
Shura was so busy trying to bite the rope she didn't see Mo slinking to a nearby tree, down the trunk, across and over the wall into the abandoned garden. He ate his heart's content and gathered fruit to carry home for his family. The end. Well, yeah, at least this episode. Yes, Abby, like.
I hope you guys enjoyed this story about Chee Chee. This Chee Chee is a serious strategic, you know. Waiting, boy, Anthony.
Strategist, yes. very, very about the thinking, right? So we have just one or two words to say before we go. I hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, this is a very, very short time that we're in right now. But, like I said, we're trying to keep it positive and we're trying to, you know, have some. And by the way, this vervet monkey print on the t-shirt was done by my lovely wife Jade, because that is the business that she has on the side. So anyway, Jade, in closing.
Sure. Well, thanks again for joining us for Read to Me's nightly bedtime series. But before we go, it's really important that you listen to us. Are you guys listening? I hope you're listening. Do you want to be little superheroes? Do you? I'm sure you do. Here's what you can do to help. Wash your hands. Keep your hands out of your mouths. And remind mommy, daddy, granny,
And noses.
and everybody to wear their masks if they're going out, if you have to go out. You can even make a game out of it and sing happy birthday twice while you wash your hands with water and soap.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Time.
somebody.
We're all staying together and we're going to keep trying to keep things positive and follow Read to Me TT if you don't already do, so that you can find out who the coming readers are, what books are going to be read. And but it's our kiddies for a brand new story with two brand new readers. So have a great weekend. Enjoy.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Yeah. Skip it up.